Moraine Valley Library, Black History Month curation again, Dewitt Scott, and another video. We're keeping these videos going. I got so many videos, so many books that I can talk about. So I really narrowed it down to a few books. But in this particular video, a really good book that many people have never heard of. It is a book entitled Strong Inside by Andrew Maraniss. I believe I pronounced correctly, Maraniss. Strong Inside. And it is the subtitle is Perry Wallace and the Collision of Race and Sports in the South. So Perry Wallace was a young man in the 1960s. He was the first African-American basketball player in the NCAA Southeastern Conference. Why that's important? The Southeastern Conference in NCAA, it covers what is typically known as the Confederate South. Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, that sort of area. In the 1960s, and even maybe today, that's still sort of, that area of the country, that Southeastern area has always been polarized or just categorized as one of the more dangerous racist areas, particularly when it comes to, the 60s and 70s for Black people. So at a time where all of the college sports were all white at the major universities, particularly in the Southeast, the least progressive, the first African-American to play basketball out of all of those schools in that conference, right? We're talking upwards of 10, 12 schools, and he's the first. He was the first African-American basketball player at Vanderbilt. But while it centers around him being the first, or his sort of athletic accolade, it very much is what I consider a civil rights reader. So his life, he lived through the time of the civil rights movement, and the book documents his trials and dealing with racism and dealing with all of the threats of violence and everything that he dealt with being this groundbreaking athlete. It's sort of juxtaposed with the civil rights movement at the very same time. Perry was a fantastic basketball player, but he's also a fantastic student. He excelled in the classroom. He's a valedictorian of his high school, and would go on and just do a lot of great things post-college, right? But he was also just a very dominant basketball player, and he dealt with a lot of distractions, right? He just being in that conference, going to what's known as Ole Miss or the University of Mississippi was not allowed. That particular game was canceled because of him. Mississippi State was a difficult game. University of Kentucky, with Adolph Rupp and his racist background was this. It's a beautifully unfolding story that tells a lot about race and history and sports, combining all of those aspects. So a really, really, really great read, Strong Inside. I recommend it for anybody if you're interested in sports, history, civil rights, Black history, any of that. So check it out. Strong Inside by Andrew Maraniss. Recommend it for anyone.